finally happened. Damian Lillard has been traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. Oh my God. The Damian Lillard trade has finally happened after months of speculation, months of trade rumors, trade packages, Damian Lillard going on podcasts and throwing subliminal shots and this, that, and the third. Damian Lillard has finally been traded. This is going to be raw and uncut. I have no script. This is off the dome. My initial reactions of this trade. What a move this was to shake up the league. Let's just talk about it. So the official trade package is right here. It's a 3-team trade between the Milwaukee Bucks, the Portland Trail Blazers, and the Phoenix Suns. The Bucks get Dame. The Blazers get Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, some picks, and another player whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. And the Suns get Yusuf Nurkic, Nasir Little, Keon Johnson, and Grayson Allen. Oh my goodness. So Damian Lillard just had the best season of his career. He averaged 32.7 assists, shooting lights out from the field and from three. And even though it didn't amount to wins, he still showed that he's an amazing player, even at his old age. People talk about Damian Lillard a lot. This is a consensus top 12 to 13 player in the NBA. In his offensive game, he has little to no flaws. He can do it all. An aggressive player that's really going to put fear in other teams' hearts. That's something that the Bucks were missing with Drew Holiday. And you're pairing that up with Giannis Antetokounmpo. How did anybody let this happen? Now, I made a video recently about the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo as they were in the news for a lot of the wrong reasons. Giannis basically threatened the Bucks, saying that if they don't make any drastic moves, he's not going to look to resign, and the Bucks took immediate action. To see an organization like the Milwaukee Bucks instantly look to improve their roster, trying to keep their superstar player in a small market, that's going to do wonders for the NBA. And just looking at what the Bucks gave up, it seemed like Drew Holiday already had one foot out the door in his NBA career. Like I talked about in my previous video, he had an interview with Andre Iguodala basically saying that he's looking to retire after his current contract is up. Grayson Allen is replaceable, and those pick swaps mean nothing as long as Giannis stays on the team. So little for a player of Damian Lillard's caliber. That's a trade you do 10 times out of 10, and the Bucks pounced on an opportunity and took full advantage of it. Looking at their starting lineup for next year, Damian Lillard is obviously going to start at the 1. The shooting guard position is a question mark. Will it be Pat Connaughton? Maybe Margin Beauchamp will get the ability to start there. And then you have Chris Middleton, Giannis, of course, and Brook Lopez. That's an amazing 5. You have maybe a 2, 3, 4-year window with Damian Lillard to see how many championships you can win. This makes them instant title favorites. The best team in the Eastern Conference just got that much better. I mean, it's going to be cinema every single night. Now, Damian Lillard didn't get exactly what he wanted, but if the entire reason for requesting a trade was to win a championship, I think he's in the best position to do so. So all that talk about him sitting out if he doesn't get traded to the Miami Heat, that's false. He's going to show up to training camp. He's going to hoop his ass off. And honestly, barring any injuries, I don't see any team in the NBA beating this Bucks team. Now, next, I want to talk about the Phoenix Suns side of this because I feel like they were the ultimate deciding factor on this trade. For weeks, it's been talked about how the Trailblazers have this strange want for DeAndre Ayton. They feel like he'd fit their young core perfectly, and I understand it. Once you draft a guy like Scoot Henderson, a young point guard, you're going to want to make his job as easy as possible. You're adding DeAndre Ayton, who could be a decent or good lob threat for him, depending on how he plays and stuff. I know his tenure for the Phoenix Suns was a little shaky, but still. He's only 25 years old. You have him locked up for the next 4 seasons, I believe. So I understand that in that sense, but I mean, at the same time, how much is DeAndre Ayton really moving the needle? But for Phoenix's side, making that trade, getting back Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson is fantastic. The difference between Yusuf Nurkic and DeAndre Ayton isn't much at all. You could argue that despite his injuries, Yusuf Nurkic is a better defender than DeAndre Ayton. Neither of them are really doing much on that end, so that doesn't really matter. And offensively, I believe Yusuf Nurkic provides more for the Suns team than DeAndre Ayton would have. Nurkic is a better screener. He has a better array of post moves. He's stronger, which is going to mean a lot down low. He might be a better rebounder. I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see, but it's not the fact that it's Yusuf Nurkic. It's the fact that you're getting Nurkic and Grayson Allen, who's a pretty decent 3-and-D player. Nasir Little, who succeeds on the defensive end, and Keon Johnson, who can grow and potentially provide something for that Phoenix Suns team. When the Suns made that deal for Bradley Beal alongside making the previous deal for Kevin Durant, a lot of people talked about their depth as a big issue. And over the last 2 to 3 months, they've completely fixed that. They have a pretty solid group of guards, wings, and bigs outside of Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. And in that Western Conference, they're going to be very, very scary. And now for the Portland Trail Blazers, the Damian Lillard era is over. The best player to play for your franchise is now gone, so what do you do next? It's now time to enter a rebuild. You're hoping that Scoot Henderson leads the way, but outside of him, you have a great array of young core pieces. There's Anthony Simons, Shaden Sharp, and DeAndre Ayton, who I just talked about a little bit earlier, along with your own picks as well as picks in the future. It's a pretty great start to a young core, and if I was a Blazers fan, I'd be very excited. But part of me feels like the Blazers should have got more from this deal. I don't know. And of course, they still have Drew Holiday, who I don't believe will be starting the season off on this team. I think he'll immediately be traded to another contending team in hopes of adding more assets if you're the Portland Trail Blazers. There's a lot of contending teams out there that could use Drew Holiday's services. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with that situation. And last but certainly not least, we have to talk about the Miami Heat and how much of a fumble job they did this summer. Bradley Beal was first, and I understand not going after him considering his contract and everything else that went into that. But Damian Lillard, how do you fumble this if you're the Miami Heat? For the entirety of the summer, we've been hearing Damian Lillard to Miami Heat rumors. There have been so many different trade packages with so many little players that the Miami Heat could trade, and yet they didn't come away with them. I've never ever seen anything like this. There has never been a time where a player wants to go to one destination. All the talks are about that one destination, and the trade doesn't get done. And the Heat don't have anybody to blame for this but Pat Riley. Once again, Pat Riley sat on his hands, let things play out, and of course it didn't end up in his favor. And now you're going to be going back into camp with an old Jimmy Butler, a disgruntled Tyler Hero, and a confused Bam Adebayo. All you had to do was stack your chips and give as many assets as the Portland Trail Blazers were asking for. Because as you can see, it doesn't seem like the price was that much. I believe the deciding factor was the fact that the Heat were just trying to finesse them. They didn't want Tyler Hero, that's understandable. But guys like Jaime Jaquez and Nikola Jovic should have been on the table. Certain picks should have been on the table. Caleb Martin should have been on the table. But who knows? Maybe the talks between Portland and Miami aren't finished. Maybe they can work something out for a potential Drew Holiday deal, which, I mean, it's not Damian Lillard, but it is a definite upgrade at that point guard position. And now everybody can breathe again. Damian Lillard trade is finished and we can move on to enjoying the NBA season. The Milwaukee Bucks, just like that, have shown everyone that they're still the heavy favorites to win a championship. It's going to be a very interesting season. I can't wait to see what other teams plan to do moving forward. There's a lot more trade talks for a lot more players, and hopefully we see more things play out. Damian Lillard is a Milwaukee Buck, man. Who would have thought?